Right, good morning, guys and girls. So, yeah, what a nice price action we had yesterday, late afternoon and through the night. So, just to zoom out on the Bitcoin chart, we've got this anchored VWAP right back from the Corona lows, there in March. So, that's been a crucial anchored VWAP. If you look at that, that was like a pivotal point there, a big resistance. There was another big wick down. And then if we zoom in a little bit, you see we came, we rejected. We rejected a little bit again. We went down, we retested it, we stayed below it. So now we're coming back to that critical point. So just be aware of that. I know there's a lot of euphoria in the market, but just be careful of that. We might get a big rejection from here come Monday morning. But it is good. It's all good all around for the altcoins everywhere. Another zoomed out view that I just want to emphasize is this pitchfork that we have here, also from that Corona low to the first all-time high, and then to that big drop in June last year. So that pitchfork's bottom, or that's, I think is that they call it the 618. See, we've just crossed that line. So if we can reclaim that, that will be a big positive. And then also remember this January low, January high we had right from last year's January, and that equilibrium that gave us that support when we dropped down on January the 23rd, 24th. So we're also running up to that January high. So that is definitely a channel. See here it was the bottom, and yeah, it can be the top. So just be careful of that, of those levels. Yeah, we're approaching that CME gap. Maybe that's the one we need to close on Monday morning. It will make us all happy. So a market going down, talking as if it's just negative. People make a lot of money in a bear market, but I'm not at a point yet. But it's normally when you already have accumulated quite a lot of Bitcoin, and then you have to short, and then you're more motivated to short. And those people, then you basically enlarge your Bitcoin count, but not necessarily your dollar value. But once it turns at the bottom, then you basically buy back a lot of Bitcoin for you basically have got more money to buy, or the Bitcoin is worth less, so you can buy a lot more. I'm not at the stage yet where a bear market excites me, although that comes with maturity, and I will also reach that stage with you guys at some point. Okay, so let's just go over to the daily levels. I've already prepared them here, so you can just pause the screen. It's a huge range for today. So also what I've learned from my coach is when you have a daily open that is outside the value area high and value area low, if it then enters, so once we drop down and we get into this value area between there and there, just be aware that then it becomes a lot more probable that you will drop right down to the bottom. I'm not saying that you keep on falling, but that's just a range. We might come down a little lower, get some support there, and run up again. I haven't looked at what values or what levels correspond with that level. Before I add the levels, maybe just go onto the Ethereum chart, because that's also quite a nice looking channel. I didn't even use the magnet tool. I just had this channel in here for quite a while, but look how nicely it's been respected. The midpoint, even a deviation there, and straight back up to the midpoint, retested it, and we're sort of hovering above it there. Also the 786 on the Fibonacci, I pulled it from that pivot there, pivot high to pivot low. I'm just going to move it a little bit so that you see which levels, and you'll see that we exactly on that. We stopped yesterday on that 786 of the Fibonacci. Let me just try and draw that in for you here. No, I'll show it on the other chart once I've added these levels. So let me add the levels, and we'll continue. Okay, here's that Fibonacci that I just spoke about on Ethereum. Remember, it was the 786, and if I pull it here from that pivot to that pivot, We stopped yesterday or last night exactly on the 786. It's like a perfect mirror image of what happened on Ethereum. All right, let me continue adding some levels. I'm just gonna stop the recording and give some commentating as I add the levels. So just looking slightly zoomed out on the 1 hour, you'll see that that yearly value area low. That's the value area of taking a fixed range pull from the 1st of January to where we are now. That was like a perfect resistance there. And I see now our previous day equilibrium is well, it forms a confluence there. So also be careful, that not be careful, but that could be a really good support now, and is the top of that range there. So I think we've got really good support here to give us quite a nice bounce. I mean, that's like a perfect. If you have that and you have that and you have a bounce off there, that's like a perfect chart you have of Bitcoin. Okay, let's or any chart that you can look at that's like near perfect. When it comes down, it retests the previous high. Okay, so I've just added the single prints here, and then I also want to add maybe possible swing failure patterns there. Let me just add the magnet. So there is a possible. Let's just mark that one. What's wrong now? And there. So it's quite a way off. I don't want to jump the gun right now, but just be careful there. We might see it just pass through and come back and look for previous support. Maybe that one, what's the distance between there? Sometimes you might get a swing failure pattern of the first one and only later of the second one. So that's 7 days difference there. That is quite a range. We might find that we first do the first one and come back and find support and then do the second one. Like I said, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Okay, just looking at the range just above us, it's actually a really good confluence. You see that point of control there in confluence with that 786. I mean, that just gave us such, and with that anchored VWAP, I think that we had a look at there. Yeah, the anchored VWAP and the January high. So that's 4 confluences we had there on that resistance we found yesterday. So it's also the point of control of the new range above us that we're entering. So we're right on the value area low of that range. So that will be, so if we enter there, and there's the value area high, so we'll have to, that'll be first resistance before we get to that swing failure pattern and that swing failure pattern. So really interesting levels we're moving into now. Okay, I've added the naked session point of controls and the naked point of controls and the TPO point of controls. Yeah, it's just getting more and more exciting, that exact level. So there's a TPO point of control and a naked daily point of control exactly on that level where we touched. So perfect analysis. I've got quite a lot of levels on here now. It makes it a bit confusing, but what I wanted to show you is this channel that I've also had in here for quite a while. I'll switch it on and off for you so you can see where it is. So you can see we're also exactly on that midpoint. So there was perfect touch there, and there. That's the other channel. That was like the base of the channel. And we've had more or less, good support around there and the bottom here and the midpoint there. So there's another reason for. So we're at a really big level right now. So I've just added the previous month level, so you can't see it, but that 42,000 there behind there, that's the previous month point of control. So I think we probably had around 7 or 8 confluences with this level where we bounced off last night. So really important level, this 42,000. So it's also a psychological round number that adds to it.
Didn't like that.
Ach ja, ne, toilet. so laaste sinnetjie sê.